guys, it's Gabe from the Disciples here, and today I have James and Carmack with me, and we're going to be reading the new Vanquished Soul cards. Because none of us have read them, and they're legal for Heroes. I mean, I think they're coming out this weekend, right?
They came out yesterday.
Oh, okay, so there's legal from this weekend, legal for Heroes format, so I think it's important just to familiarize. So we got a couple, we're going to read over the cards, go through some example deck lists, and you can kind of learn as we learn. Because we had a glance, but we don't really know what everything does.
Yeah, I think the deck definitely is on everyone's radar a little bit more post-ban list as well, just because it gets like new cards buff where people might not know what they're doing, and if you just pair into a deck where you don't know what you're doing, then you could just auto lose for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Also, all those cards came out in Wild Survivors, so like the whole deck is new and it kind of came out at one wave, so no one is familiar with this stuff. So I think it's important to check it out. All right, let's go card by card. First one is Vanquished Soul Dr. Medlove. It's 12 2K, Fiend, Dark. When it's normal or special, you can add a Vanquished Soul spell and trap from your deck to the hand. And then they all have the second type of effect. You can reveal one monster in your hand of each of the following attributes and then activate that effect. So there's two types, so you can reveal a dark or a dark and a nerf. That's what I think so, right? Like, for example, you get to review a dark and a nerf, and you do the second effect, not the first one. And they're not like cumulative. They're not wavering eyes.
No, you can't reveal dark and earth and then do both effects. You either have to reveal dark, trigger the first one, or dark and earth in the second one.
That makes sense. So dark makes opponent lose 500 attack and defense, which I guess is cool because it's damage step. Doesn't say you can do damage step.
Yeah.
And dark and earth bounce the monster with the lowest defense in the field. So I guess this is 2K. I assume all link monsters are treated as 0 for this, probably.
Yeah, you can't bounce a link monster with this because.
I mean, I think it's treated as 0, right?
No, I saw a discussion on the Judge Lounge because it can't define the defense of the monster because it doesn't have defense, so you can't bounce a defense monster with this card.
Oh, can you use Mashing Ground a link monster?
I would imagine not.
That makes the card a bit worse, but okay.
I mean, it might make it a little bit better if you're... I don't know what the end game of this deck is, but if it spams link monsters, then it might be better, because this card has quite a high defense, and you end maybe on this and, some link monsters, and then you're always going to be bouncing your opponent's card. It's a little bit weird that it returns a monster on the field, and not your opponent's field. I don't know, maybe sometimes you do want to bounce your card.
I guess it's relevant because they end the link monster a lot. Spoiler alert. And if it counted link monster, you'd always end up bouncing your own link monster.
Yeah.
So I guess that might be the reasoning. But this card is pretty cool.
I guess sometimes you do want to bounce your monster to have an attribute in hand, right?
Oh yeah, that can come up because for those who are not familiar, the gimmick of this deck is that basically all the cards have this types of effects. So you need to have monsters in your hand that fit the attribute to resolve those effects. So you can like use this to bounce back, I don't know, itself, and then you can reveal it as a dark for something else. Stuff like that. But yeah, this card is one of the good ones. I mean, anything that's on summon triggers to search any spell or trap is definitely cool. We're going to go over the spells and traps. The best one is unfortunately not a Vanquished Soul card, so you can't search with this. It's called Stake or Soul.
Oh.
But you can search the other ones.
Okay.
And then, so there's 3 level 4 monsters and 3 big ones, one for each attribute, Dark, Earth, and Fire. The Earth one is the bad one, I think. So if you have no monsters, you can special this one. You can reveal, you have the review effect. If you reveal only an Earth, you can destroy a battle. Earth and Fire, you destroy all spells and traps in the column. Which is like, eh.
Is that a quick effect, at the very least?
They are, yeah, all of them are quick effects. The reveal ones.
Okay. So it's like kind of an extender. Kind of?
Yeah. I mean, this deck on the OCG commonly plays like Chaka-9 Vorbo to make like a big Zeus. So in theory, you can like special this, normally the other guys make that. But the effects itself is kind of fake, like not dying by battle, it's not real. I guess built-in back row removal is not bad, but this is MST, right? This is like MST that you gotta place correctly.
Yeah, MST, you have to place it correctly, and it's got extra steps.
And as an interrupt, it feels so weird because they can just set the cards not in front of this guy.
Yeah. It'd be cool if the special summon effect was also quick effect, so you could kind of like interact with cards that way, like special summon it and then reveal. But
Yeah, a bunch of the mechanics summon those guys in your opponent's turn, so I don't think that should be a big problem.
oh, okay.
So the idea is kind of like you summon those guys and you have cards in your opponent's turn that summon them, and then they have effects on columns. There's another one that has one. We're gonna go over it, which is Vanquished or Raisin. So this is like the counteract of this one. When it's normal summon, normal special, you search for a monster, which again, very good, right? All those cards are +1s are just good. Same review effect. The reveal fire, it's not destroyed by card effects, kind of fake. Fire and Dark destroys all their monsters in this card's column. So again, it's kind of like a pop. It's a conditional pop, but this card's already good. So the pop is kind of like a bonus.
It
It's
destroys.
also water.
The Rhoda for the deck is, or the Stratus of the deck, obviously being able to add whatever attribute that you want for your follow-up effects is really, really strong.
Yeah. Also, the fact that this is a water means you can play Road, which have a 4th copy of it, which I guess is kind of cool.
I think it destroying monsters is in its column is a lot easier than destroying spells as well, because if your opponent's playing some kind of link climb deck, you can kind of position it a lot easier around that, right?
Yeah. Oh god. By the way, playing against this is already a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's Smack Knight all over again. Because like you probably have an optimal way of placing your cards, so you place them in a column they already have a monster, so they can't summon a monster to that column.
So it's the opposite of Mech Knights. You want to have, you want to fill your zones.
Nah, it's like when you're playing as Mech Knights and you put 3 monsters in a column to play around a Mech Knight Blue Sky.
Yeah.
It's the old Mech Knight Pro play, because they only have 2 treasure targets. So if you put 3 guys in a row, he can't resolve it. Leon hates this one trick.
But yeah, these yeah, and you see here these obviously are all different attributes, and then they're all trying to reveal. Primarily, it's the dark, wind, earth, and fire, and they have like a bit of a correlation. So I think all of them say if you reveal one of the same attribute, they do the first effect, and then one of their own plus another attribute, then they do the other effect. So it kind of leads into the idea of, you know, you want to be seeing a high number of these cards, and then also cards that kind of, you know, pair well with them. So we've seen commonly in the OCG they play a lot of, you know, hand traps such as Ash, which is fire. Obviously, like things like Bestials because they're dark, DP Crow, etc., etc. Sort of, you kind of get the gimmick of the deck right here.
Yeah, well, let's kind of throw the cards first, I think, just so we can have a better understanding. So you have all the small ones, and you have one big one for each attribute. I think this is the best one. It's called Heavy Burger. Funny. I don't know why. Burger.
It's not the
I
Hungry
think so they
Burger
have-
support.
Yeah, I think because they have Hungry Burger support in the same set. Heavy Burger just sounds like a B-Tech version. But yeah, main phase quick effect. So these are quick effects to summon. You target a non-machine vanquish, so anything that is not itself, I guess.
Yeah.
Bounce it to your hand, summon this guy, and then quick effect, review a monster. If you review a dark, you draw 1. If you review an earth and fire, you do 1500. So the dark one is a main one because it means that if you went like Mad Love and then you summon this guy by bouncing Mad Love, you can just review Mad Love and draw 1. It's also a quick effect, so you got to draw 1 your turn, draw 1 your opponent's turn, heat so style.
Draw into those hand traps or the attributes you need.
Exactly, like you play a lot of cards you want to draw. Like a lot of the end board is just like advantage.
And then it's got a time win con.
Yeah, just build in time win con.
Which
It's
is
kind of funny. You have to show your hand traps for this. Like if you're doing them turn 1, like
Yeah.
hey, I have an Ash and a Bell, but you take 1500. By the way, I have an Ash and a Bell.
It's interesting. I think the bigger ones, because the smaller ones were reveal one of the same type, and then one of the same type and something else, and this one is one of the same type for the first one, and the second one is earth and fire instead of dark and something else. So
Rule they feel? Nah. There is no rule.
there's no rules. Okay.
There's no rule. Fuck it. Nice try. All right, Kaiser Varius, 3K by the way.
I know this guy's in collector's rare, so I expect a lot from him.
He's a level 8 dragon. Just saying.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, this guy by the way level 7. So if you're playing a Fenrir, this has some synergy. This one level 8. Dragon, same thing. Target a guy that's not himself. Bounce at summon him. Review a monster in your hand and use the effect. So, Earth, unaffected by activated effects. Not bad, I guess.
This guy's just a train.
It's just big. And then Earth, Fire, and Dark. Destroy one other card on the field. So it's a quick play pop if you have all 3 in the hand.
Having all 3 in the hand, I mean, I thought it was going to be really hard, but reading the cards, I don't think it's the hardest thing in the world for them to do.
Yeah, I mean, a pop is not bad, right? Wait, this isn't target as well, right?
Yeah, it's just a pop.
This is not bad, I guess. Like 3k. Can pop one in your turn, pop one in your opponent's turn. Kind of big, hard to remove. You can summon it as a quick effect as well. So for example, if you special the searcher in your opponent's turn, you can search this, summon this, and use it as a pop.
Yeah. Are these
That's
all
interesting.
Are these all hard ones per turns, by the way?
Yes, they are hard ones per turn. Then you can't use both effects on the same chain, which I don't even understand how you would.
I guess if you had multiple copies.
Yeah, like only if you had multiple copies, right? Like because one effect's in hand, one effect's on field.
Yeah.
I guess you can't go various in hand, chain various on field. I don't know how common that would be, but they are hard OPTs.
I guess it stops you using the one in your hand as what you're revealing. Does that make sense?
Like another copy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I see.
But,
Like you can't like the Machina Fortress bullshit.
Yeah, but to be honest, if they could, I don't think that would change too much.
Yeah, I think it's just like convoluted. All right, what the hell is this?
It's a zombie apparently.
I was really liking the card art, and then like they just have a blob.
After UK Nationals last weekend, is the second card your favourite card?
Yeah. Crazy times. All right. If you have no monsters in the main monster zone or only Vanquished souls, you can special summon this card from your hand. So this one is only if you have no monsters. This one is no monsters or if you have Vanquished souls. So I guess this is cool because next time there. It is level 6. Quick effect, reveal, fire. It gains 3k defense. Wow.
So it can't be bounced. You don't automatically bounce your own card.
Energy. Dark and Earth, it gains 3k attack. This card looks awful. I guess it's an extender, right? Like it's the guy that just says special summon itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have easily had reveal fire, become 3k, and I would have been fine with the card.
Yeah, become a tuner. I don't know, man. Like, this really need an effect to gain 3k defense. What the fuck is this? Matter Reflect Slime?
Literally do something.
Like, just poke it with a stick. Like, hey.
Yeah, like, literally do something, bro. I'm revealing 2 cards in my hand for you to gain 3k.
Yeah. To be fair, the monster quality is not bad.
Overall.
Yeah. So, spells. Stake Your Soul. This is the one that's not a Vanquished Soul card. This is a very good one. So you review any monster in your hand and you summon a Vanquished Soul with the same attribute but a different name. So basically you go like review Ash, summon Raisin, review Bestios, summon Mad Love. This card is very good.
And you can also summon the big guys from deck, right, as well? They haven't got summon restrictions?
No, in theory you can go like review Fenrir, summon this guy. You can summon an attack. They bounce in the end phase, but I don't think that matters too much.
Oh, so it's another way to also get attributes into your hand, right?
Yeah, it's true. If you let them bounce in the end phase, this card is very good. E-tallies, like any type of E-tally that summons a monster that triggers, is consistently being broken.
Yeah.
Because in theory, right, if you go like Stake Your Soul, you review an Ash, you summon this guy, then you go, this guy's effect, you summon this guy, you summon this guy, it searches the spawn trap, like you suddenly have 2 bodies that spawn trap in hand.
Yeah. So you have to, it's just reveal, it doesn't send to graveyard or anything, does it?
No, just review. It is not searchable though, because it doesn't have Vanquished Soul, so you can't go Mad Love search it.
It's a bit of a shame going back to the thing where, like, sometimes you might just have to give your opponent information of hand traps you play.
Yeah.
But, you know, the card's still very good.
Dynamic, yeah. All right, Vanquish, so continue. I really like the theme of this card because it's just like a game over screen. So yeah, pay 500, target a Vanquish Soul in a graveyard, add it to your hand or special, so it's Reborn or War Returning Alive. It's a quick play, which is always cool, and it's searchable by the guy. So I think it's a bit of a combo piece.
Yeah, it's cool.
Decent card.
If you like use your hand trap, if you use like Ash Blossom in your opponent's turn, and you have this set, you can add another fire, like target the fire Vanquished if you really need it, I guess. Which is kind of nice.
What?
As in, like, if you only have one fire in your hand and it's Ash Blossom, and you need to get that fire back, is what I'm saying.
Sure. I see it. Yeah, I think the fact that quick play is cool. It means like you can dodge like them targeting it in a grave, like a charmer or stuff like that. You can also like
with the big ones as well. I like that they're quick effect summons because let you dodge things like Imprim Veiler on like the babies that you can like chain tag in.
Yeah, you can do this in draw phase, play around draw as well.
True.
So yeah, that's cool. Vanquish Soul Dust Devil. Target a Vanquish Soul you control, changes battle position. And you can change face-up monster your opponent controls face-down defense position, which amount of Vanquish Soul monsters you control with different names. Oh, this card's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
This is Book of Moon.
And it doesn't target.
It doesn't target, it's searchable by this guy.
That's pretty good.
Good. Actually very cool. Kashtira Shivers.
Even more.
Like,
Now that they've lost everything.
they have. This card's cool though. This card's definitely cool.
Yeah.
This trap, I heard people talking about it. I think this trap's kind of cool. So you target a Vanquish Soul you control. You can summon up to 2 from your hand with different attributes. Oh, the negate the effects is kind of shit. And then you can bounce opponent's cards in the column of those monsters. So basically, like you flip this, you summon the guys from your hand, and then you bounce whatever you summon them in front of.
Turn all opponent. Oh, cards as well. So it's not just like monsters or something like that. So you can
Bounce balls and traps, I guess. I don't know how relevant that is.
you can bounce skill drain.
That's true. That is true.
You can bounce deck. I don't know. This deck can play There Can Be Only One actually, can't it?
Yeah, this deck like plays Tickable pretty reliably.
I guess.
But,
Wait,
but
can you
I guess
scroll up to the top again of this card?
so you
Up to
target
2.
one Vanquish Soul, then you summon up to.
Yeah, so you can out things like Gozen or Rivalry with this card as well.
Yeah, the one thing that I assume if the monster leaves the field, you don't get to summon.
Target one, but special summon.
Because it has to have a different.
Yeah, because you can't see the
Oh
attributes.
yeah, it's the same as
That's kind
same as Dogmatic Punishment, right?
of TOs, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, be the most common one. Yeah, this card seems cool. It does seem like it requires like quite a bit of setup. Like you have to have 1 on field and 2 in hand. Like I recognize this deck is kind of trying to play a lot of hand advantage. You want to have amassed a load of cards, which is why I think one of the best ones that we've seen so far is the dark one that's going to draw cards. You just want to have like a handful of cards to use your effects. But it's a bit weird, like compared to like the spell, for example, the Book of Moon spell. If you're going to be accessing some form of like interaction off of your, it's like Dr. Madlove, I think that one seems like a bit easier to set up. But there's probably some applications where you go for this instead.
It feels like I would rather search the extender or search this than interrupt so far.
Yeah.
Is booking is also probably better than bouncing on average?
Yeah, probably.
Right now, at least. Alright, another one. Counter Trap. Vanquish Soul Calamity Kaiser. That's cool artwork. Activates a spell trap card or monster effect. Targets a card you control while you have a Vanquish Soul. Negate the activation, destroy that card, then you can burn equal to the attack of a Vanquish Soul you control. This card is shit.
Yeah. It's not just a blanket Omni Negate, which is really annoying.
It's a blanket Omni Negate for change of heart. Like.
Yeah. I don't really.
Yeah. We're in 2023. This feels a little bit like it hasn't adjusted to power creep. You know, like Salamangreat came out with its own, Omni Negate like 4 years ago.
Yeah, this is too specific. Like if you search this, like everyone else doesn't have to play into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These traps have to be so good to search them, because the other cards you could be searching are nice. So like you could be searching Extender, you could be searching Book.
A non-targeting book is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is actually like very good. Like they summon 2 guys who just book both. That's like the whole Trap Tricks archetype.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's very weird that they didn't carry the gimmick of revealing attributes for the spells and traps. I
You would
think it
think so, right?
I think it could have been cool if the spells and traps had like multiple effects. It just would have made them much better as well. Like if the traps had multiple effects, one's bouncing, negating, this, that, and the other.
That's fair. And then the Link Monster. Link Monster is very good. I've read this card. Rock of Vanquisher. That's a cool name. Can't be used as Link material. Ever. While you have a Vanquished Soul Monster, they can only target your biggest guy to attack. So I guess you can't ever attack this if you have another monster, because it's small. Main phase only, quick effect. One of these effects. Summon a Vanquished Soul from your hand. Add a Vanquished Soul from a graveyard to your hand.
Oh, that's good.
Alright, this is very good.
That's very
You
good.
can summon a guy and then just add it straight back, and then during your opponent's turn you can summon it. So for example, if I go like summon fire guy, search something, I make the link 1, I add the fire guy back. During my opponent's turn, I can summon the fire guy search again, search another big one, and then I can summon the one that draws or the one that pops.
Yeah.
Yeah, give you ways to play on the opponent's turn and allow you to snowball. I think this is like what the deck like really needs, because if you were only adding like using things on your own turn, I think you wouldn't be able to amass enough cards to be able to use a lot of your good effects. So this is good.
Yeah. Yo, rock. Can someone research your organism on the field?
Yo.
Oh,
The card's good though. The card's kind of
Yeah.
exactly what they needed from a Link 1, right?
this card makes a lot of sense.
It's a shame
So-
that it doesn't count as a Vanquished Soul on the field, because I think it maybe doesn't
Yeah.
interact with some of the spells and traps now. But
Yeah, so it doesn't count because they say Vanquished, so it is a Vanquisher.
yeah,
Because they were careful by making the two best cards not Vanquished Soul cards.
yeah, true.
So this is kind of the card by card. I think we now have a general understanding. You can kind of take a look on the lists and understand like what they play. So this list here is a list that won Singaporean Duelist Cup, like last weekend, I think, actually.
Yeah.
So let's see how correct we were in the ratios. Okay, they play 3 of the Monster Searcher. They play 3 of the Spell Searcher. The Blob does suck. They do play 1 Blob.
I think the ratios make complete sense, right? They play 2 of each of the good big ones, one of the small bad one, and one of the big bad one as well.
Yeah, it's a very small engine, you know, right? When you think about this, like they play like 12, 15, 16 engine cards. The rest of their deck is just non-engine.
And no traps. None of the traps.
None of the traps. Okay, yeah, the traps. I thought they sucked. I think we're right.
Is there a way to recycle the spells?
Not that
I
I'm
forgot.
aware of. No.
I
The-
don't see anything.
The Link only adds monster, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they can recycle the spell.
Okay, so fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a lot on the engine. So here I think we're gonna talk about how this deck's gonna behave very differently than the OCG. So OCG, they have Maxi, which is well a very good Earth monster to review.
Yeah.
And I think this deck also looks like it functions well under Maxi because it doesn't like have a bunch of special summoning. Your cards make advantage even through Maxi. The Link monsters like inherent summons they have to Maxi before you go into it. So that's definitely a loss. But you do have Fenrir's here, which I guess could be kind of cool. OCG has like 1 field spell, 1 Fenrir. We have 3 Fenrir field spell to have army. I think we are mentioning earlier that you can go like you can go Fenrir at Rise Heart, and you can use Rise Heart as a fire review as well.
Oh, true.
So that's kind of cool. I would expect.
Being able to add like an earth or a fire, depending on what you need, probably would be a fire most of the time, but kind of gives you like flexibility.
And
Yeah,
the-
like in theory you can like do that, and then you can summon the Rise Heart after and still use the effects. Because like you can make the Link 1 and then summon the Rise Heart.
I was gonna say
You
they
have,
don't
like, Fenrir for the monster.
they don't lock into Vanquished Souls, do they? So
No.
yeah, you could make I don't know whatever you really wanted to make, but
Yeah, you could technically even make a Rise Heart if you really wanted to, because one of the guys is level 7.
oh, true.
The one that draws level 7, so you could like make a draw going to Rise. I don't know. I think there's some potential by mixing it. like every time I see an OCG list, they have less incentive to mix cards because of Max C.
Yeah.
So here I think it could be kind of cool. You see, they play non-engine for the specific type, so they play Crows and Bestials for Darks. They play Kurikara, Dogoran, and Ash, and they play this. They also Small World's pretty popular. Because everything kind of bridges somehow. I think it might be the defenses. They're all very different basically, so you can kind of get from one to the other by using a hand trap as a bridge.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think just a lot of the non-engine bridges between them, right?
Yeah, so I think it'll be like if you have a hand trap, so like an Ash, you can then Ash into the big fire, into the small fire, for example, because like the only thing they share is the attribute. I think
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. So because they're all different, they should be pretty easy to Small World. Also, the cards that you add are like very good, I would say. Like they're high value, so even if you go -1, you still kind of get the value back.
Yeah.
It does feel like it would need a bit of this consistency because like you only have 3 dark, 3 fire, Rota, 3 of the spell. So it looks like the kind of deck that needs Small World.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't have the typical field spell that adds any card in the archetype.
Yeah.
For example, so you need to have other ways to search your inserter cards.
Yeah, and it main decks Tickaboo because they're all different, and I guess Tickaboo's well positioned.
And
Something
you
that could be.
I don't think you can play Prosp in this deck either, can you? Because you want to be drawing.
I saw TCG list with Prosp. I haven't seen a single OCG one. In theory, you can. Like, the extra deck doesn't matter. The one restriction is that you might lose a draw in your own turn.
Yeah.
But I do think Prosp is a very strong card. And Prosp seems cool because it can fetch the attribute you're missing.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Like, for example, if I have a play but I need a fire, I can get an Ash, then I can use this Ash to reveal for the Stake or Soul. And Prosp would get you closer to more copies of Stake or Soul, because that card is very good.
Yeah, that
It's
card
really, really
is
like
insane.
I can imagine the quality of your turn really depends if you start with Stake or Soul, if you start by normal summoning a guy.
Yeah.
Extra deck wise, they have like tons of room. They play 3 Link. A lot of times they play Zeus and like Exceeds to make Zeus. So I think this list plays the Zodiacs. No, this doesn't have Zodiacs. But you could play like Chakanine, Borbo.
This
make, like,
list
a big
is
Zeus.
playing Reaper, so that kind of shows how much extra deck space they actually have.
Yeah. Again, yeah. They're
Oh,
different
this-
targets.
This list is playing Prosp as well.
Oh, this one has Prosp. Yeah, so it could play Prosp, but I don't think it's that crazy.
Shifter.
Shifter's a pretty big one because you do lose the Link 1 recursion.
The thing
But-
about that though
Which is
is you could, for example, because it looks like this deck doesn't really like commit loads of cards early on, and doesn't put loads of cards in the graveyard, for example. Like if you just have like your one body, you link it off the Link 1, you could theoretically like use go into the Link 1, add it back, and then Shifter after, so you can have an empty graveyard, which might be.
Oh yeah, that's also true. If you start with a normal summon, not with one of the spells, you can even get that value off.
And Shifter
pretty
is a
cool.
dark, so if you dead draw it late game, at the very least, it's doing something.
You gain some value from this dead shifter, which I guess is also interesting.
You don't have to reveal like an engine piece or another hand trap. You can just reveal a dead shifter, and that's that.
I mean, I imagine at some points you just won't have cards to reveal, right? Like you can't have a nerf, a fire, and a earth, fire, and dark just chill in your hand for no reason.
Yeah.
If you have, you probably already won. So I guess the shifter working for that is kind of cool. Small World seems to be pretty standard for Dogoran and Kurikara. Small World's a card that I think is very well positioned in general, so it's interesting to see. It got a lot better without Diabolos.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, the list, it's a very hand trappy deck. I do think maybe it has some potential as a more splashable engine or with an engine splashed into it. But this is kind of what we have right now. It doesn't look awful to me at first glance. Like, I probably need to play some games and see how it feels. It doesn't like rock my world. I'm going like, damn, this card's crazy.
Yeah. I think
Oh,
that.
cool thing. One of the guys is a dragon, right? You can Magnum and search it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
true.
That is the thing. Yeah.
Um,
'Cause this list doesn't play Druisworm. It only plays like one Magma and it searches various.
I think the non-engine the deck can play positions it quite well, actually. You know, Shifter and there can be only one is kind of brutal. Especially if you can then Prosp cert, or, you know, Prosp reveal one of them. Well, there can be only one is kind of sick.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of you can play a lot on an engine, which is always a good thing, right? And your cards do a lot by themselves. I think I had a video here, which is kind of like what one card does. This one's just like a concept. I think the guy goes into circular. But the idea is like pretty simple, right? Like, because you can go the fire guy. Your fire guy can search the dark one. You can make the link one, and you can use the link one effect to summon the dark one. And the dark one can either here search the quick play to reborn, and then you can go into rank 4.
Yeah.
Or you can search the book. So here I think he goes like he'd go like reborn, summon this, and he'd go like into circular for a math play. But you could in theory make Baguska here, and then you still have the link one to add back to make Dweller add it back. So the cards like have a lot of value.
Yeah, I mean, not locking you into the archetype is just huge sometimes, isn't it? When you have extenders like that.
Exactly, because you can play like good utility rank 4s. You always have the threat of Zeus when you're going second. I think this is one of the stay or so combos. So if you have the dark, we can summon Mad Love. Mad Love can search the interaction. Here we get to like bounce it, summon this guy. This guy gets draw. And then this one just adds it back. Right? And then here, it doesn't look like much, but out of like those, next turn, we can summon Mad Love, search again. We have the book interrupt. We have this guy summoning by bouncing the Mad Love and then getting another draw. So you play a lot of cards that you get to draw, and you kind of play like, okay, I survive next turn, I get all these effects again.
Yeah.
So
It looks like a snowball kind of deck, right? Like if you give
gives me
it one or
Saruman
two
great
turns. Yeah.
Definitely Magic Salomon great. I do worry about this does look like a deck that significantly benefits off of cards like Maxi because it looks perfectly positioned for that sort of card. So it does leave me a little bit concerned in TCG, for example, without a card like that, whether other decks are just going to be a bit too powerful for it. But we've had a balance that's kind of reduced the power level of a lot of decks at the moment. So maybe going into this Euros format, if we're not seeing any crazy combos, it might have a good spot. Similar to Hensei, for example, like Marincess was kind of in the summer of last year.
Yeah, in theory, I think this decks even get like considerably better if people are trying to do like very big combo things, because you're playing a bunch of hand traps, right? And your engine still generates value. But I agree, it does feel like lower in the power level. Also, it probably struggles to kill. Like at first glance, I don't see how you put damage on the board. You have like that one guy that's 3k. You don't really link summon. You probably are forced to play this low game by default.
Yeah, you don't really get to like link climb really because the link one you can't link with it. I see like this extra deck here does play access code, but it doesn't look like the easiest to be able to sort of climb up a lot. But maybe
because you can make dark, and then you make Celine, and then you make access code, and you bring your shifter back.
There you go. That's it. That's the combo.
It can make the BLS link, which is kind of nice.
Yep.
But the deck kind of looks as well like if you droll the first normal summon, it could just, if you're just put back by one turn, that could just end the game as well.
Yeah.
Like
I
if
guess
you're
one
not,
argument at least, if you get drawled, right, you at least you search a card, and you make the link 1, you add a guy back, and then during your opponent's turn, the link 1 summons that guy as an interrupt. It doesn't feel awful when you draw, per se.
I don't know. The way I see this deck is that like you have to be doing stuff. You have to be gaining advantage during your turn and your opponent's to just snowball to be able to use those like 2 to 3 attribute effects, and also to be gaining advantage of them. If you shut that down right at the start, I don't know how viable it'll be turn 2 onwards instead of turn 1 onwards.
Yeah, one thing that I think is relevant is that Bao is actually pretty well positioned in a format that Cash gotta be worse, Live is pretty popular, that's probably gonna gain some popularity, and Bao is an Earth hand trap that you can play over Maxi, so you can bump your Earth numbers a bit. You also want to play cards that you want to draw like 100%, because you just need those interrupts to be live, right? Like it kind of has the math mech thing that it does something small that draws cards, it's Hitso, but then you just need to survive, because if you survive next turn, you just throw. I guess this deck doesn't kill them, but it just gains so much advantage that you win from there.
Yeah.
I guess since you're not locked as well, you could always just like normal summon an Asher Bell and make a Baron, Kashtira style.
In theory, you could as well, right? Because one of the guys level 7.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It feels like there's a lot of room because the cards don't lock you, and all the lists we see are very like normal, like mid.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really like Staker So as a card. think that card is very cool. So maybe I could see people splashing this in other decks.
Yeah, overall it looks like a well-positioned, maybe rogue deck for Euros. Could
If
definitely.
the non-engine lines up and stuff like that, it's important to know what the cards do, especially because it seems very confusing.
I think it could. It definitely take some regional tops.
Mhm.
Potentially a YCS or a Euros top here or there, but I think it's not too sure on what the meta's going to look like as is anyway. So
Yeah, but that's why I read it. That's why I see it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. The idea, we had no background on it. I did some reading before. This is not meant to be an expert's opinion, so we're probably gonna be wrong on a bunch of stuff. It's kind of like our discovery process. Let us know what you think. And yeah, thanks Cormac and James for hearing me wobble about Vanquished cards for 20 minutes. And I'll see you guys next time.
see you in a bit.